Hey guys, Christmas is coming, and if I'm honest, I already got the question when the supermarkets filled up their shelves with gingerbread and speculoos at the end of July. How should I behave towards my ex? Can I contact her, or what if she contacts me first? I would like to ask you guys a question about this. Do you understand what breaking up with you means? It means that she does not want to spend her life with you anymore. Do you think Christmas is out of time because it is such a special day and you are now respected and accepted every year, this one and other special days? Do you think you can suddenly act like that just because the bond inside you kicks in and makes you relive memories of how you might have wanted to spend Christmas with her, or even spent it a few times? That she would just respond to that with understanding and the same way? For the breakup itself, this is a day like any other, and you have the position in her eyes like any other day. Namely, the position of not being her partner. That is, if she has even a trace of empathy, she knows how you will possibly feel on that day and will not throw your Christmas wishes around your ears. It also depends on how the relationship ended and how long ago it was. The fact is that you will not achieve anything on that day. Let's briefly assume the scenario that you would write to her. Something like, "I wish you and your family a Merry Christmas." With the statement alone, you already bracket yourself out and make yourself small in a certain way. You expect an answer, and now it comes to her. She has several options. She can ignore it, and while even the most distant brother-in-law will get a message, she will show you how little you are worth to her. Result: Christmas will be ruined for you because you wrote with an intention and thought it might bring you closer again, or it would get you a better standing with her. Or it would just be polite. Something you are thinking, if only subconsciously in some cases. And that will be disappointed. Now for the worse option, she writes you back. She could make an announcement that clearly tells you what she thinks. Or she writes you back nicely and wishes you the same. Possibly with a few smileys. Super. Or you are happy about it and think about how you can follow it up. But shall I tell you something? It would have been more honest of her if she had kept her mouth shut. As I said, the separation means that you are no longer in this inner circle. Maybe she wishes you no harm and you are on good terms. But on that day, like on New Year's Eve, people write a lot of things that they don't really mean anywhere. Some just reply, others pick out a chain letter and send it to everyone in their contact list. On that day, they certainly don't want any trouble, and it's a kind of politeness that, especially at Christmas, you're happy to give to anyone who doesn't completely piss you off. And even if you do, you don't lose anything by doing it, it's just considered a social norm to act that way. But now you are standing there, you get an answer, and you are happy like a little child. Maybe your last interaction with her wasn't very positive, or you haven't heard from her in a long time. Hopefully, you were in no contact. And now you break it to write to her and ruin all the work in her direction by showing her that after all the time you have held out, you have nothing better to do than to get in touch with her and pay attention to her again. This comes across to her after a long time as if you are trying to sneak back into her life. It's always the first thing exes think when you arrive back out of nowhere like this. What does he want from me now? And the first link is not, he just wants to wish me a Merry Christmas, but, he still doesn't get it. This is not addressed at first, but if you then misjudge her conventional greeting back, you may be getting on her nerves again. And the most important thing, you have ruined the chance that she realizes that you do not need her, and she would have to get in touch with you if she wants to hear from you again. After that, it is much more difficult to assess what her intentions are for further conversations in the future, and the chance is high that you will interpret too much into it. But that's exactly what you wanted to establish in the no-contact period. So that you can see opportunities. Now we move on to what about when she writes. Because that could look like an opportunity. But the same argument applies here. The fact that Christmas is supposed to be the festival of love doesn't mean that suddenly there are feelings for you again out of nowhere, or that you can overestimate a message from her. This can be a quite conventional message, as with everyone whom she knows even rudimentarily closer. And even if there is something behind it from her side, you should not overestimate it. You are in a no contact because you have to increase your self-worth again, and attraction from her to you can only arise if she wants it all again and a bit more than you. This builds on her interest. "Have a nice Christmas" is not a message of interest to you and will be treated like any organizational message from her. It will be answered, because ignoring it would be interpreted negatively and is childish. But soberly and mirrored on the same level. No exaggerated, "Hey, I didn't think you would write. Wish you did too, how are you and the cat?" No questions. One statement, and when she writes and asks more in response it slowly goes on like that. But with most of you it will remain with the statement. This shows you directly how this would have ended if you had started talking on your own. If she feels like it, it's up to her. Don't forget that you were thrown out of your life together by her. It is up to her to approach you and to assess whether she is receptive to you again. Otherwise, everything you do will be in vain and will only cost you strength again, while she does not even understand why you are doing all this and hoping. The only reason to write to her of your own accord is to have children together, and you are welcome to be the first to write that day. But also here, the children are your link to each other, that's all you have in common. But not to end on such a negative note. Such days are something special. Especially if you have had several of them over the years. The breakup was close to Christmas and she is not in a rebound relationship. That's when attachment likes to come around the corner and trigger her at every opportunity, as it probably does you. It's not a choice either, it's deep inside us that we miss beautiful moments together. Even exes who have left you. You just always need to properly assess their actions and be more unneedy towards them. In the best case you are actually less needy and reflect the behavior with the firm knowledge that everything else is useless to them. From the position you may even manage not to get carried away, should they write at Christmas and enjoy the feast and bit. I wish you a Merry Christmas and only the best. Take care and see you in the next video.